Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Zelda II, The Resurrection of Ganon, a fan-made hack of the original Zelda II, The Adventure of Link. So even though this is a fan-made hack, it's very similar to the base game. In the layouts of the palaces are very similar, so just like in the base game, there was an invisible wall there, and we just passed through it. There was a second invisible wall, though, that they added in this version, though, because they changed the layout slightly with the way you have to proceed through this palace, because they put a bunch of these leaves that block the way. So we had to go a different route to get through this dungeon. We're going to end up having to walk through that invisible wall again in a little bit. First we have to go get a key. Do a lot of backtracking in this level. We got to get a key so we can turn back there, head down the elevator in the room before that invisible wall room, and then that'll take us to the item in this level. This item is the medicine that we need to give to that ghost back in the port town to get the fairy magic. So just like in the base game, you had to get the medicine to give to the lady in that town to get the fairy magic. Well, this one we're giving it to a ghost, but we're still going to get that fairy magic, which will be needed to get into the bonus palace, that northern palace. That's where you get the flute, which is needed to finish the game, and also where you get the last magic container. In this dungeon, we're going to be getting our 5th magic container. We'll also be getting our attack maxed. That's what that 6,000 is there for. Max out our attack, and then later on in this episode we'll also end up maxing our heart containers. The last heart container is outside of in the base game, the 3rd dungeon, 3rd palace, the sea palace. We couldn't get there earlier in the game because in the base game the passageway that leads to that palace, it's collapsed. So the only way to get to the palace in this hack is with the water walk boots. So technically, we could have gone there after we got the water walk boots in palace, the 3-eyed rock palace. But it's better use of time to just finish everything up on this side of the world. And then we gotta go back to the other side, and we'll get that palace and the northern palace, that bonus palace, all at the same time before heading back this side to get the Great Palace. Got a red pot there, it's nice. Fill up our magic. And now we can fill up our attack power. Max out our attack power like the base game now. If you have a maxed out stat and then select that stat again, you'll get an extra life. But we can't, we still have life and magic to go. 2 more levels in magic, 1 more level in life. So we won't be getting any extra lives. Not that we need any extra lives, like I said, I'm going through this as a deathless playthrough, and as you saw, the game gives you plenty of extra life dolls. We just got one earlier actually in the dungeon, where that red iron knuckle was. So you got that blue iron knuckle to fall down, which is good because their AI tells them basically to back up when you approach them, and if you wouldn't have had him fall down, you would have had to fight him here under these blob enemies, this blob dropper. Pretty difficult jump there. You can either use the dash or the jump spell to make it. So because dash is only used for making those really long jumps or in speed runs to cut down on time. So like I said, it's not really a really important spell. I'll use it maybe once or twice in this playthrough just to maybe show it off. It's not a necessity like the fairy spell that we still need to get. And the resurrect spell. Alright, now let's head on back to that room where we started at and go get the medicine. Farm a few more blobs here. Maybe we'll get a blue pot or 2. Almost there. Then we got to trek all the way back just to get the magic pot then. magic container, however you want to call it. I guess the magic container because the pots, I guess the jars, I don't know. Interchangeable interchangeable words. It makes me think of my brother and I when we were younger, we played Mario Brothers, or whether it was a stage, a level, or a board. You'd hear those terms used, all three of those terms used to describe, you know, a stage that you were playing, or a level, or a board that you were playing. Speaking of Mario Brothers, earlier on in the day, I was watching on Retro Gaming Live on Twitch. I was watching. They have a relay race. Apparently, it's 35th anniversary of Super Mario Bros. 3 from the Nintendo. So I remember renting that game as a kid, learning about that game through the movie The Wizard with Fred Savage from the Wonder Years. He had a little brother who was really good at video games, autistic, but he was really good at video games, and he wanted to go to this place for his last place where he was with his sister before his sister died, and rather than his brother snuck him out of the assisted living facility, and they did a cross-country tour. And they funded it through playing video games and I guess sharking people out of money at video games, and ended up getting into the Nintendo World Championship, where they unveiled the game Mario 3. People said that movie was just a big advertisement for Super Mario Bros. 3. You don't know? Yeah. I remember we rented that from the local game store when they used to rent Nintendo games. That game and Blaster Master we'd often rent a lot of. Back then I couldn't beat Blaster Master, but if I had the knowledge I did now, I'd be able to beat it. And if you don't have that knowledge, you can just watch my playthrough of Blaster Master on this channel. Little Metroidvania type game where it was like Metroid, where you had to go around this big world and find items to open up new areas in the world, and then explore them to eventually get to the end. So, fun little game, but unlike Metroid, it didn't have a password, and so you had to basically beat it in one sitting. And it was pretty difficult back in the day when you didn't have the internet or guides, or it wasn't a really popular game either. I mean, it's popular now, so much that they actually made remakes of it, and had spawned quite a few sequels. But it wasn't a game back in the day where they would give you a strategy guide. I think Nintendo Power may have covered the first 4 levels of it in their guide, but usually Nintendo Power, like I said, they never cover the entire games for most games, unless they were like a really big seller or special. Apparently those are collector items these days. If you have all the old Nintendo Powers, unopened, or basically in pristine condition, you can get quite a bit of cash for them. Collector's market. Retro games have been pretty popular these past few years. I think especially how they came about during COVID. I think it became a really big hobby back then. People were stuck inside, and what better way to kill time than relive some old nostalgia. So, speaking of killing things, killing these wizards is always difficult. It's even more difficult in rooms where there's like a low ceiling. So what we want to do is we want to kind of destroy these blocks and just open up the room a little bit, so we have room to finish these guys off. Otherwise we can get potentially trapped underneath the low blocks. We're more susceptible to being hit. So we just clear out the room, make it open, take it out a little bit easier to finish them off. Not that I'm having any ease at finishing them off. I'd like to... Well, let's use our life spell. I'd like to... I'm getting flashbacks of Castlevania, the final Dracula fight, where it's in 2 stages, and the first stage he basically warps around the room, and he can appear on top of you, and if you don't walk the right way, you won't be able to get out of his sprite in time, and he'll damage you. I think in that game you can take like 4 hits before you lose a life, so it's pretty difficult. And like I said, you didn't have a second phase to go through after that. I only recently just beat Castlevania for the first time. I said I've beaten Castlevania II, but that's like a Metroid game, so not really it doesn't feel like a Castlevania. And I basically beat the reimagining of Castlevania 1, Castlevania 4 on this channel as well. Surprisingly, the first game, my first Castlevania game was Castlevania The Adventure for Game Boy. That's a really poorly received Castlevania game because it's the first on Game Boy, and it was one of the early releases for the Game Boy, so it wasn't really programmed all that well. But I had no other Castlevania to compare it to, so I just thought that was standard Castlevania. So my people would complain, oh, it moves so slow for a Castlevania game. There's no sub-weapons like in a Castlevania game, but I didn't know any better, so it's just a fun little game that I had as a kid. I've also beaten it on this channel, so if you want to go watch that Let's Play. Castlevania is not really a genre that I'm really into. I played those games, and that's about it. Although it has a nice, they have a nice anime series about it. You know, some swearing and blood and gore and stuff like that. But for like, you know, adults or older teenagers, it's probably a good watch. They take a lot of the lore. Now they have a sequel out, the Castlevania Nocturne. I've seen the first season, haven't seen the second season yet. That just restarted in, or just came out, I think, in January, late January. So I'll see it when I donate platelets. They have Netflix at the platelets donor. And here I forgot that I already got the. There's one up here earlier, and I forgot that there's no pot in this guy. I thought I'd go back and get a quick refill of life or magic there, but no hidden pot in that statue. That's okay because we got the refill right here in this town here, and then we're gonna head, like I said, head back over to the east, get the fairy spell, and get our final hub container. Jump around. Bob is so excited that he's almost done his adventure. He's hopping around like a tick-tite here. And he's not shooting fireballs like a tick-tite because he just took a bunch of damage and he doesn't have full life anymore. Well, now he does. So we're going to head back to the western side of the world here. Got a few more things to take care of over there. I'll show off the dash spell here, since I'm going to get a magic refill in this town anyway. So, as you'll see, we'll be able to jump really, really far. Like I said, that can help you make long jumps if you don't want to use the jump spell. I thought in a previous episode I said I thought that in the end dash was kind of useless because jump ends up being cheaper than dash at full magic. But actually, I was wrong. Jump, I believe, at magic level 8 is 12, and dash is 8. So, I'm just going to head on back out here to see what this lady says. Thank you. That's it? Okay, well, let's head on in. Now I'll need to check what that alert said. I just got an alert there, that's what that beeping was. Yeah, rain is continuing. We're supposed to get a massive snowstorm, but it never got cold enough. It stayed in the high 30s. So the rain never turned to snow, so we've just been flooded down here where I'm at. And here we got the second to last spell, the fairy spell. It's a good idea to have this spell before we head into the third palace, or the sixth palace in this game, but the third palace in the base game, the island palace. Because the collapse of the palace, like we read about in one of the towns, a tsunami hit it, caused a lot of damage. So the exit out is just a small one tile. You have to have the fairy magic to get out, unless you want to backtrack. Luckily, they do put another exit in this dungeon halfway through, and I'll show that off. Here we finally get to show off the tough enemies in the desert here. Blue Gorias, who aren't so tough anymore with attack power 8. They fall to one hit. And down here is where we can finally walk across the ocean, or the sea. Finish off these little mold worms, which are nice in this game. Most games you fight mold worms, they're a boss of a dungeon, and they're usually in an area where, like, if they hit you, they knock you off a pit and you gotta fall down and start the fight all over again. I'm taking Zelda III, and then Link's Awakening for the Game Boy. I have a few more Zelda games on the Game Boy that I gotta go through. Don't know if I'll do them this year or next. Next game's gonna be another hack. A bunch of hacks to finish off. And here, we gotta finish off our life meter. So I'm not worried about taking damage here from this guy, because when you pick up a heart container, you get all your life restored. Now all we need is to get life level 8. We'll get that later on. Probably get our magic next. And we can get our magic in the next palace, Palace 3, where we'll start off in our next episode. Take care, have a good one, see you then. Bye.